Good morning, Alta Realty Group agents. This is Kevin Lauren, and today I'm joined by Sean Smith from Imprev. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing great. So today we're going to delve a little bit deeper into Imprev. Last week we kind of went through the basics on Friday. Hopefully you've all had a chance to set up your accounts. And again, if you haven't, you can contact me. If you're having any trouble, you can contact me and we can get those set up. Very, very simple. Really all you do is go to marketing.imprev.net, and that will pull up a screen where you will be able to select LAARG as the, what do you call that, Sean? The coupon?
It's called a reference code.
That's our reference code. So if you haven't done so, do that. Call me if you have trouble, 949-285-7209. So, Sean, let's get right into it. So why don't you take us through the things that we want to do today is we want to go through some of the customization of the marketing materials. And we also want to start looking at the email program and the email features. So if you would, Sean, take it away.
Sounds good. Yeah. So last week we kind of went over an overview of kind of our platform and automation, but I think today we're specifically going to cover how to customize a piece that was automatically created for you. If you want to put your own personal touch on something, and then at a later time, and then a little bit later on, we're going to cover the campaigns feature of our system there. So if you see on my screen right now, you'll see that I have the automation email pulled up, and this email will come through whenever you have an active listing. And if you, when you get this email, if you look at like the flyer or the postcard, I'll pull these up in a new window here, and you figure out that you want to change the pictures around or something like that. Maybe the flyer has two pictures of the outside of the house, and maybe you want to switch one of them around to show off the kitchen, the bathroom, maybe the backyard, whatever. I'm going to kind of cover how to do that, and then also maybe if you want to put your own custom verbiage in it. This does pull from the MLS, but if you want it to be different from what's in the MLS, I'll kind of cover that too. So
great. And then one other thing maybe you could cover is over the last couple of days when I've been helping agents create flyers, sometimes it pulls from the MLS and the image will be sideways. Any idea how or why that happens?
Yes, and I can cover that also today. So,
okay, great.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know.
Sure.
That does happen every now and again. So, if you want to customize anything, the easiest way to do so is actually by going back to the automation email. And if you scroll to the very bottom here, you're going to see where it says "Do More Imprev Marketing Center." And one of two things is going to happen if you click on this link. If you're already signed into your account, like if you've signed into your account on the computer previously that you're using, it's just going to automatically sign you into your account. If you haven't signed in on the computer that you're currently using, and you click on the link, it's going to take you to marketing.imprev.net, and it's just going to ask you to sign in. So I'm going to do that right now.
Perfect.
Let's go here. Enter your email and your password. It'll take you right into your account, and this will be the screen that appears if you're already signed into your account on the computer. So let's exit out of this. We'll go back to the email. If you click on the link, now it's just going to take you automatically into your account like that. So if you look up near the top, you're going to see a tab that's projects right here. You can click on that. And you're going to see a folder for every single listing that you have. So this email was for 1234 Main Street right here. So I am going to click on the 1234 Main Street folder. I have a few duplicates here, but I think the ones I want to edit are the bottom ones. So let's look at the flyer. You just click on the flyer, and then in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see this edit button right here. You'll click on that. And then a good navigation tool is up here near the top. There's this little timeline that says info, photos, text, and agent. So
right, yes.
If you want to edit the photos, you'll click on the photos. If you want to, edit the verbiage, you'll click on the text. Maybe you want to edit some of your information, such as like the phone number that's appearing under like the Agent 1 section or something like that. You can click on Agent. So if you want to swap the photos around, we'd click on Photos. That takes us to the photo sections. You'll see here's the two outside house pictures that were shown in the flyer. Let's go ahead and get rid of this one. So with this third button over right here is the replace button. This is usually what you'll use to adjust the photos on all of your pieces. You'll just click on this button, and then you basically just select a new photo, and you can upload it directly from your computer, or you can click on project photos. If you click on project photos, this will take you to where all the photos from your MLS are appearing. So you should see all the photos associated with your listing in project photos.
That's easy enough. That's good.
So yeah, let's maybe we want to swap this around. Maybe we want to show off the dining room a little bit more instead of the front of the house. So we'll do that. And then once that's done, just remember to click on the save and continue button, or else what you just did won't save. And then if you click on save and continue, it's going to take you to the next section in the timeline. So it'll take you from photos to text. But if you only want to update photos, you can just go back to the projects up here at the top. If you want to update text, you can stay around, maybe switch some verbiage around. I don't want to do that. So instead, I'm going to go back to my projects, go back to my folder, and then go back to my flyer, this one, and preview it now, which is this preview button up here on the top right. And now I can see that the outside of the house is no longer there. I got a picture of kind of the dining room area. So that's good.
Yeah, that looks great.
So, one thing I want to mention is that if you go back to your email and you click on the link here for the flyer, it's still going to show the two photos of the outside of the house, as you can see here. That's because that's a link for our website, so we need to update that website URL. To do that, for any printable pieces, such as a flyer, a postcard, a brochure, you'd click on the download PDF button. And then there's this small text right here that says publish PDF to web.
Ah, okay. I was wondering about that.
So when you click on that, that refreshes the link in the email. And so now the link in the email should appear correctly. If I just refresh the page here, I'm going to hit F5 on my keyboard. And now you can see that the picture of the house outside of the house is no longer there. And we have the dining room. And
awesome.
So that'll be permanently updated on the email. I'll click on the link again just to show you. And there you can see it's updated.
That's good. And do you find that agents really use this email to keep this email in their inbox, and they reference the email, they go back to the email all the time? Is that how you see most agents using the system?
I'd say it's pretty split. A lot of agents that kind of like to get into our system and add custom touches don't really do that, but agents that don't have the time and are busy marketing, that sort of thing, really like to refer back to the email.
Sure.
Also, a lot of times, one use that we have seen with the emails is that agents will just forward that on to the person that they're selling the house for. Be like, hey, what do you think of these marketing materials? So if you forward on that email, you want to make sure that the links are always updated in that email. So whoever has the email has the correct flyer, postcard, all that good stuff.
Got it. That's not a bad way to do that. Another way, of course, is to send the client the individual pieces.
Exactly.
If that was more your style, but two different ways to do that.
Yes. And going off that, there's a few different things, a few different ways to send out, I guess, marketing materials through the email or through our system. For example, if you click on the e-postcard and you want to send out an email with the e-postcard, there's a few ways. You can go back into our main dashboard here and go to your projects and find the e-postcard here. And you'll see that there's an email to contacts button right here. And you can click on that and you can do premium email. And then you can just send it to, you can either type in the person's email address. So for example, I could just type in my email address here. And that would go to me. Or you can click on the contacts button. Contacts button up here, and then send it directly to contacts that are in our system that have been uploaded into our system. So that's one way to send out emails. If you want to send out an email directly through your email software, I think the easiest way to do it is actually, since this is all HTML code, you can actually just copy and paste this whole thing into a new email, and I'll kind of that. So
not bad. I like that.
So it's really easy and convenient. So I'm pressing Control A on my keyboard to select everything, and then I press Control C to copy it, and then I can just compose a new email. Pull this up in a bigger window here. Press Control V, and there it is, right there.
Wow, that's pretty easy.
So, and then you can just, send it to your recipients directly through Gmail, Outlook, whatever's easiest for you. So that's kind of a neat feature. That will only work for our digital designs, HTML designs. So like an e-postcard would be the main one you would do that.
Hmm.
It wouldn't work so much for like a flyer or a postcard, since those are PDFs. So,
Got it.
yeah.
And so just agents just know that that's the functionality for an e-postcard.
Yes.
Not bad.
Yeah. So that's kind of what you can do with the automated pieces. Was there anything else that you wanted to specifically go over with automation? Or
No, I think that that does it. I really want the agents to interact, and if they have specific questions, definitely reach out to Sean or myself. One thing that we are going to do, guys, is we are going to be doing a custom flyer layout. These layouts are great, but we want to create something a little bit more that is closely connected to our branding. So we are going to be creating, hopefully we'll get it done very, very quickly, but in about a week, we will have custom flyers. So the overall look of the flyers is going to be a little bit different and hopefully a lot better. So we will keep you guys updated and let you know as soon as that happens. I'm pretty excited about that because I'd like to have an automatic flyer that just looks absolutely stellar. So that's what we're shooting for.
For sure. Okay. So that kind of covers how you'd update, a piece that was automatically created for you. I guess there are a few other small details I might want to cover. So looking at the flyer, if you want to update like the phone number or your name, or maybe, you want to make sure that the BRE number is appearing, that's going to all be done through the profile on your account, or maybe, you want to update the email address.
Right.
So if you go back into our system, let's say you log in, if you click on your name in the upper right-hand corner, it's going to pull down this little drop-down menu, and this is where you can edit all that. So if you click on profile, you can adjust, the name that's going to appear on the flyer. You can update your title. You can add your BRE number. You can update your phone number. You can update there's links to kind of your website that appear on our digital design. So you can update, the URL that appears on the e-postcard or the virtual tour. And then you can update your email address. If you update your email address, one thing to mention is this is the email address that your automated marketing materials are going to be sent to. So just know that, if you want a different email address to appear on your marketing materials, that's also going to change the email address that we're going to send the marketing materials to. So be aware of that. And then if you click on your name and you go to business info, this is where you can adjust, if the information here looks incorrect, such as, company name or your address, that sort of thing. You can also adjust the logo here. I believe you guys have two logos available in the library, one with the black square around it, and then one that's more just white there.
Correct.
So, you can kind of pick from that. Also, in the profile, you can adjust your agent photo. I forgot to mention that. So if you want a different photo to appear on your marketing materials, this is where you do that.
Great. And so see where it says title down there, guys, real estate agent, BRE number. I think that is a good spot to list the BRE number.
Yes.
I suppose. Yeah, I think that's really the spot where we want it. So just make sure you have that, in the titled area, real estate agent, and then your BRE number.
Yeah, that's what we recommend to pretty much all of our California brokerages, is that the ideal spot is in the title field for your BRE number. So I would agree with that.
Okay, great.
Okay, so that should cover everything for updating pieces for automation. Let's move on to campaigns. The first section I actually want to cover with campaigns is the contact section of our site. So before you set up a campaign, you're going to need to have contacts in our system, or you more than likely are going to want to have contacts in our system, unless you want to manually type in everyone's email address that you want the campaign to send out to. That's not really any fun. So
no.
I would recommend starting in the contact section. So when you click on contacts, you'll see some buttons here in the upper left-hand corner. The main button you're probably going to want to pay attention to is the import contacts button. When you click on that, it's going to ask you to either, basically it's going to ask you where you want these contacts to be, I guess, categorized in our system. So you can select an existing group if you already have some groups. Maybe you have you want to upload a list of potential buyers. So, and you have a potential buyers group. So you can say, hey, I want to to associate all these new contacts I'm about to put into the system with my potential buyers list. So you can do it that way.
Got it.
Or let me, no, it won't let me go back. So, or you can just create a new group, and you can just do that by typing in, whatever you want. Maybe it's associate real estate agents or something like that. You have some associates that you want to send out the email to, so you could just type in associate real estate agents, and then go next on the next button. But next, it's going to ask you where you want to import the contact from. You can do directly from Outlook, directly from Gmail. My recommendation, and the easiest thing I usually, in the past, the easiest thing I found for agents is just to upload it directly from like an Excel or a CSV file.
Yeah.
So if you click on this, it'll just pull up your browser here. Let's go to Documents. I have some contacts here. So I have sample contacts. I can just upload this whole list, and it's going to tell me, it's going to take me to the mappings screen, and in here you're just going to want to make sure all the information matches up. So you see this row here, it says Sean John Edward Lance. You're going to want to make sure that's the first name for everyone. It's not like a city or anything like that. If it's showing up a city, you want to switch that to first name, right?
Yeah.
And that's pretty straightforward. So you just want to make sure all the fields match up with the drop down menus.
Cool. And then one quick question, Christine is asking if she can create a piece from somebody else's listing.
You can. However, the information isn't going to pull into your account. So there's a few ways to do it. If you want, the easiest way to do it would be to get access to that person's Imprev account, and then just go into their listings tab and make the piece. And then
I was thinking about that. That's probably the easiest way to do that.
Yeah, if you want your information to appear on the marketing piece, what you could do is you could really quickly update the info on the profile, just to show your information until you get that piece out. Once that piece is out, you can change the information on the profile back. So that would be probably the easiest way, because all you have to do is update the information on the profile, and then just go to listings and click on a listing, and then just click on the create project button. That way you don't have to enter any text or photos into the piece. So that's one way. The other way would be, if you're in your account, you can go to listings and you can click on this create new listing button, and then you can just add a listing that might not be yours into your account, and you can add the photos. It would be sort of a manual process where you'd have to add the information, but once you've created that listing, it's always going to be in your listing section, so you'll always be able to create marketing pieces for it once it's been added.
Okay. Yeah. So some of our agents work in teams, and so they may have a listing maybe under Bill Morgner's name, but Christine Felix may want to go out and show the property, or do some of the the marketing for that. So that would take care of that.
Yeah. So to talk about teams real quick, if we go to the flyer and we edit it here, you're going to see that if you kind of view how it's laid out, you're going to see that there's this Agent 2 section right here. This is not automatically included. We don't receive the secondary agent information from the MLS or List Hub. So by default, like when our system creates the marketing materials, you're only going to see the Agent 1 information here. But you can always add secondary agent information into like the flyer that we automatically create. You just need to get access to whoever's account this is in. So, for example, if you want to add your information to a flyer, so both you and your partner's information appear, you would go to the text section here, and at the very bottom, there's this Agent 2 section, and you can add your name, your title. There's a section for a license number, phone 1, phone 2, all that good stuff. So,
and what about a photo?
And then photo, you actually need to go to the agent section. It's a bit tricky, and there's an Agent 2 photo section right here.
That. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you can do it that way too.
And so conceivably, you could do co-branding like with our mortgage company.
Correct.
Put our mortgage guy info right there. That's great. That's easy.
Yeah. So there's that option too. You can make it in your own account. You can make it in the other person's account, or you can kind of make a dual agent flyer through the automated piece that we've created. So, okay, let's get back to
and then Christine asks, once you do that, does it show up on their account? No, I would not think so.
It will not show up on. It will only show up in the account that the marketing materials have been generated in. So,
right.
Unless you go into your account and go to listings and create your own new listing, then it'll show up in your account.
Got it. And so once you create that new listing, even though Bill Morgan has that in his system, you'll also have that in your system.
Correct.
It's not a big deal to have that in both.
Right. Yeah. Information isn't like shared in between any accounts, so hopefully that clears some questions out there. Okay. So back to contacts. So we were at here. Let's go. I'm just going to name this test for now. So we're uploading a CSV file here. So make sure all the mapping's correct. And then also if the first row in your spreadsheet is like categorization, like, first name, last name, you'll want to make sure that this is set to not a contact. If your first row is just an actual contact, then you would select yes in this scenario. So do no. And then our system's going to tell you what's going to happen. 8 new contacts will be created. If you're uploading contacts, with email addresses that already exist, like in your contact list and on our side, then instead it'll update the contacts. It won't create new contacts. Since these contacts don't have email addresses, they're just going to be created as new contacts in my account. So click next, and then it'll tell you what happened. It'll let you know if there's any errors that it ran into, that sort of thing. But no errors for me, so I got 8 new contacts in my system. So now you'll see that here's all the contacts in my group of test 1, 2, 3. And then if you go to manage contacts, you'll see all the contacts. There's a lot of duplicates here for me because the way our system determines if there's duplicates or not is via email address. Since these contacts don't have email addresses, it doesn't know if they're duplicates or not. So, but if you do try to upload a contact with the same email address more than once, instead of adding the contact to our system, it's just going to update the original contact with the email address. So yeah,
got it. So, and for some agents, this is super easy. For other agents, uploading these, downloading their spreadsheet of contacts off of their, the system that they've already got it on, and then putting it into this, that can be kind of daunting. So if you're one of those agents, just give me a call, give Sean a call, and we can walk you through that. It's not that hard, but sometimes having somebody, hold your hand and walk you through it the first time really, makes it resonate. So don't hesitate to do that, guys.
For sure. And the good news is you only need to get your contacts in here once. So it's a one-time thing. So, that's how you import contacts. And then if you go to manage contacts, you'll be able to see all the contacts that are in your system. Let's see here. Is there anything else? The create new contact button here. This is if you just want to add like a one-off contact, that sort of thing, and you don't have a list to upload them from. You can just enter all their information here and then click save, and then that'll add them as a new contact. So, that's kind of how you go about adding contacts. Pretty easy, but again, if you have any issues or questions about it, please let us know, me or Kevin, and we're always happy to help out. Once you have contacts in your system, you'll want to go to the campaigns tab. I'm actually going to delete this real quick, so don't mind.
No problem.
To prevent confusion. Okay, so you go to the campaigns tab. If you don't have any campaigns set up, this is what it's going to look like. And then at the bottom, you'll see here where there's available campaigns to select from. So you can kind of click on any one of these to see how the campaign is laid out, and you can click on the touches are going to be the events that go out to your clients. The actions are reminders that go out to you before the actual event goes out. So you'll see action 1 sends on March 8th. And it's just going to be an email that goes to you that's going to let you know this e-newsletter will be sent to your contacts in 6 days. So it's kind of just a reminder to let you know in case you want to go in and, update any of the information on the event, that sort of thing. So the actions, I usually recommend that most people don't concern themselves too much with the actions, but instead pay attention to the touches, because that's the actual event that goes out to your contacts.
Got it.
So, under touch, you can kind of view the sample. You can kind of see, what it's going to look like, that sort of thing. You'll see here that.
So this is preloaded with content, written stuff, all of that, and then, of course, the market, the listing information we pulled from whatever's in MLS.
Yes. So with the campaign, So with this specific event, you'll see that there's this is a kind of a pre-written, information about, a better way to buy a new home. And then there's a section here that says new to the market. This is where you would enter, maybe a listing you're marketing.
Hmm.
Um, this won't appear in the campaign by default, since you can see this is what's called lorem ipsum text, and
Right.
it's just text that doesn't exist. It's just kind of show you how it's going to look. So if anything shows up as lorem ipsum, that means it's not going to appear in the campaign by default. But if it shows up in English like this, it means it will appear in the campaign by default.
Okay, great.
So since you see, this listing is in lorem ipsum, this will not appear by default, but you can add it. Like if you want to add a listing into the campaign, you can definitely do that. So once you get a good idea of how the touch looks, you can move on to the next one, see how that looks, so on and so forth. Here's how the second event's going to look. Again, another section for your listing, that sort of thing.
And how often is it the default? Is it one a day, one email a day, or what's it set up for?
It depends on what campaign you choose. So this is a quarterly e-newsletter. So this is actually, it goes out once every 3 months, I believe. So this one's March 14th, September 12th. There's one June 13th. Yeah. So there's one for every quarter. There's one for spring, one for summer, one for winter, and one for fall that I skipped over. So that's this event. Then we also have a monthly e-newsletter. If you want an event to go out, more often, there's once every month here. Then we have like seasons. I believe this is also pretty quarterly. Yeah, first it turns out into quarterly because it's
Right.
spring, summer, fall, and then New Year. And then we have holidays. This one has quite a few events in it. I want to say that it averages about 2 to 3 events every month,
Sure.
just depending on how many holidays are in that month, right? So we have one that goes out January 2nd, one January 16th, February. And then again, you can kind of view all the different events to see how they look. And if you want to swap the photo around to maybe a different Mother's Day photo, you're more than welcome to do that. That sort of thing. So.
No, that's amazing. And guys, really utilize this. This is so important to have a constant communication with your prospects and people on your list without having to reach out and call them individually. Of course, you should do that occasionally as well. But this is just making sure that you're getting some form of information out to all of your people in your sphere of influence, and that way you're staying top of mind with your buyers and sellers.
For sure. Okay, so let's say you've decided on the campaign that you want to use. We're going to use the holidays campaign as an example. That seems to be one of our more popular ones. So you'll click on the select campaign. It's going to take a second to load. Based on how many events are in the campaign, will determine the loading time. Since I selected the one with the most events, it's going to take a minute or two to load here.
Not a problem. And it's querying a lot of stuff. So
yeah, just 26 touches.
no big deal.
So
and just let's take a second. Do you understand how much time that would take to prepare each one of these individually, get them loaded up? I mean, this is an amazing time saver. So we're really excited about that.
Okay, so once you've selected the campaign, you're going to see a whole bunch of buttons here. Probably be really confused at what to do. The first thing you want to probably do is add the contacts to the campaign. So you'll click on the Manage Contacts button. It's going to pull up this window again. And in the upper right, you'll see where it says Contacts right here. You'll click on that, and then you'll select what contacts you want to add. You can either check them off this way. Let's say you want to add 3 Lances and 2 Catherines.
Oh, I see that there's also a groups tab. So
yes,
certain campaigns you want to go to certain groups, perhaps other campaigns not as much. So.
Exactly. So if you go to the groups tab, then you can select what groups you want the campaigns to send it out to. Maybe you want the holiday campaigns to send only to your potential buyers. So you select potential buyers, and then that will send it to all 8 of the contacts that are in that group. That's what the parentheses mean. So if you have a group of 1,000, it'll show 1,000 here.
Got it. When
you click save, yeah, and then once you click save, it'll show you, all the contacts that have now been added to the campaign. So yeah, that's kind of how adding contacts looks. If you've added contacts and you've already set up a campaign and maybe 1 or 2 events have gone out, when you click on this history tab, it's going to show you basically the email statistics for the touches that have already gone out. Let's say I added contacts on June 10th, and then this first day of summer event went out. And now I'm checking back on the 28th under history. You're going to see where it says first day of summer. It's going to show the number of contacts, and then there's going to be some text here that says details. And if you click on where it says details, it's going to pull up a list, and it's going to show you, who's opened the email that's been sent out, who it's just been sent to, who it's bounced from, who's unsubscribed from you, all that information. So you'll be able to see a lot of good information about your contacts, and who it might be worth engaging, because they're opening your emails or things like that. So it's really helpful data to kind of look at and view. And then finally, when you scroll to the bottom here, you'll see all the events. There's a lot of events that have already gone out for the 2017 holidays campaign. Obviously, when we get around to 2018, we'll have another campaign for 2018 holidays. But if you look here for the events that haven't gone out, starting at the 4th of July, moving onwards, if you click on the 4th of July, you'll be able to preview it. Kind of see it here. It's going to tell you the date that it sends out. It's also going to tell you the reminder date. That's when you get a reminder to let you know it's going to send out. And then you also see the edit project button. And this is where you'd kind of customize the campaign.
Right.
So you can update the photo if you want a different photo to appear. You can update the text. Maybe you want your Facebook link to appear on the email, or your Twitter link. You can add all that information. Or if there's a secondary agent that you want to appear on the campaign with you, you can also add that information.
Great.
So there's a lot of
everybody. 4th of July coming up. Please try the system. Please, at least do a 4th of July email to your contacts. Get your contacts uploaded and send them a nice 4th of July hello.
For sure. Okay. So that's kind of how you'd customize the event. With the holidays campaign, there isn't really a section in the campaigns to, market a specific listing. That would be more done in our e-newsletter campaign. So let me actually select that real quick and kind of show you how that would be customized if you wanted to add a listing to like one of the events in the e-newsletter campaign.
And so I would assume, the following year, you guys have different content that you're sending out for the different.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they change every year. We don't keep it the same. That would not be very helpful. So let's say the July newsletter that's going to go out on the 11th, but you want a listing to appear in the newsletter. So by default, again, no listing's going to appear, but you can edit it. If you click on the View Layout button here, it's going to kind of pull up and show you, what it's looking like. You'll see here in the View For section right here. That's kind of where it's meant for a listing to be placed. So we want to add, maybe a listing photo to the View For, and then add, all the numbers of bedrooms, bathrooms, that sort of thing. So if we look for View For right here, you'll see that there's a blank photo right here. So you can just click on this button. Maybe you want to pull in the photo from your project. So you'll want to go to your projects and find the folder 123 Main Street. That's the automation folder that I have. And then maybe you want to add a picture of the house. You can do that right there. Click Save and Continue, and then you want to find View For again, right? That's where all the information is going to be associated with. So you'd add the address, city, all that good stuff. I could spend a lot of time doing this, but we'll skip over that. You'll add all the information. Once all that's done, you can click on Preview Project up here in the top left to see how that looks, and you'll kind of see that now this section has been added.
Very slick.
And if you preview it and you notice something that is wrong or something that you want to change, you can just exit out of it real quick and update it here. So that's kind of a good thing that I think I forgot to mention previously, was that while editing a project, there's always this preview project button up here near the top that you can use to see how it's going to look. And if you can kind of test and trial and error it that way, see, hey, maybe I forgot to add price or something. Let me exit out of this, go back down to the listing price real quick and add the price, right?
Great.
Once all that's done, you'll just want to make sure you hit the Save and Continue button. And then we can go back to campaigns and go back to the July campaign. And now you can preview it from here and just make sure it looks good. This is exactly how it's going to look when it sends out to your contacts. So now you can see that that's there.
So conceivably, what you would want to do is you would want to, spend some time, set these campaigns up,
Yes.
Have a couple of customized, communications, have, some of these generic communications, and get your particular mix of what you want to have getting sent out to your prospects.
Yes. And then a few final things about the campaign. So you can, if you want to if there's some events that you don't want to go out to your contacts, you can turn specific campaigns off. So like, let's say you want a July newsletter to go out, but you don't want the August one. This is mostly used. Let's actually go back to holidays. Let's say you want 4th of July to go out, but you don't want Coffee Day to go out, right? You can just turn Coffee Day off. And that will make it so that Coffee Day doesn't go out to any of your clients.
I think Coffee Day is every day, isn't it?
Right? Especially up here in Seattle. So.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, you can kind of customize it that way. If you want certain events to go out, but you don't want other events to go out, you can turn them all off. Green means on, gray means off. So that's a good thing here. And then also up here, you can start and pause the campaign. And this will prevent if the campaign is paused, this will prevent the campaign from going out to anyone. So if this is a bit confusing, so pay attention. If it says start, that means it's currently paused, and this button will start the campaign.
Okay, that makes sense.
If it says pause, that means the campaign is currently going out, and this button is to pause the campaign. A lot of people think that when they see the pause button, that means that the campaign is currently paused. That's not the case. It means that is the button you press if you want to pause the campaign.
That could be confusing, but that's, I think,
yes,
easy enough.
Another easy way to tell, and this is kind of the recommendation I make, is if the campaign is paused and you go to your campaign section here, you're going to see this little pause icon in the upper right-hand corner of the screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's how you can tell if the campaign is paused or not. When it started, you're going to see no icon. So that just means it's flowing and everything is smooth. So see no pause icon anymore. So
cool.
That pretty much covers campaigns, I believe.
Yeah, I think that is all we wanted to really delve into today. We don't want to overwhelm everybody, but
for sure,
if anybody does have specific questions, please put them into the chat. Otherwise, the chat feature on the replay is also enabled. So if you're watching the replay, you can certainly put in any questions into the chat. Obviously, you can always contact Sean or myself individually. My phone number is 949-285-7209, and you can contact Sean Smith at...
My number, we have a support line. Our number is 800-809-3356, and then you'll want to dial option number 1, and that'll get you to the support line. You can also send an email in to support@imprev.com, and that's SUPPORT @ Imprev is I, M as in Mary, PREV as in Victor.com.
Perfect. Well, Sean, thank you so much again for joining us. We really appreciate you coming on our webinar. And we will, most likely be doing another webinar next Wednesday. We're still on the fence on that since it is the day after 4th of July. So we will keep you all updated on that. If not, we will be back the following week with more engaging topics.
That sounds good. Thank you very much for having me kind of go through our system, Kevin.
Absolutely, Sean. Well, agents, get out there, make it a great day, and we'll see you all in the next training.
Have a good one, everyone.
Adios.